Nikkolas Smith is an artist and illustrator known for his distinctive style and emphasis on social justice issues. His illustrations have appeared in well-known children's books like The 1619 Project Born on the Water, I Am Ruby Bridges, That Flag, and Black Panther's Wakanda Forever, The Courage to Dream. Plus, he's been in feature films like Space Jam 2, Black Panther 2, and Judas and the Black Messiah. His own children's book, The Artivist, explores how children can combine art and activism in their everyday lives and was released last September to widespread acclaim. Garnie Nygren and I caught up with Nikkolas while he was the artist in residency at the Art Farm this past March. And in this conversation, we chat with Nikkolas about transitioning from a career in architecture as a Disney Imagineer to a full-time artist, the inspiring mural he designed with students at Serenbe's Terra School, and how everyone can use their own unique skills to make positive change in the world.
I really have enjoyed the community. I always wanted to grow up in a place or live in a place where I feel like everybody knows everybody and it's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood kind of. And I kind of get that vibe here.
Nikkolas, we are thrilled to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking time out of all of your artist studio time and all your engagements this week. Why don't we jump on in? I also should say welcome. Garnie is co-hosting with me today.
Hi, Nikkolas.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And we would love to just jump right in and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. You were saying before we got on, you're like, I'm not even sure I'm like totally understand this art world. I was just an architect. So tell us about your background. I know. There was a lot in between there, but tell us about your background and how you came to it.
I have been making art since I was, as long as I can remember, right? But I just wasn't the type of person, like when I was little, I wasn't the type of kid to say, I want to be an artist when I grow up. So I ended up going to Hampton University in Virginia. It's a historically Black college. And I studied architecture. And that was an amazing experience, just being at HBCU, but also finding out that they have a connection to this little company called Walt Disney and Walt Disney Imagineering specifically. And we entered this competition and designed some crazy cool laser tag arena for Disney. And we made it to the finals and they flew us out to California in 2007. And, once we graduated, we had internships. So I became an Imagineer for 11 years, designing theme parks all around the world.
11 years?
11 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Okay, wait, we got to dig in.
And 11 years was until like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
so
right.
2018.
Right before the pandemic.
Right before COVID.
In 2019, I decided to become a full-time illustrator, freelance artist, author, illustrator. If I can back up also,
sorry.
all of those 11 years being an architect, I was also like going home nights and weekends and just making art. And I started what I call my Sunday sketch series. Just maybe a few hours every Sunday, I'm just going to make some art and put it on social media. I was teaching myself digital painting. And it turned into so many things. I mean, the very first thing was this Martin Luther King Jr. piece in a hoodie where it was connected to the Trayvon Martin trial. And there was a hoodie movement going on. It was the weekend that Black Lives Matter began and all this stuff was happening. And I just started making art that connected to activism. And that was the moment to become an artivist. What I call artivist, artist activist. It was a crazy time. It was also... For me, it was actually one of the hardest times of my life. I was going through a divorce. I wanted to move back to Texas. I'm from Houston, Texas, by the way. And I live in Los Angeles. And I was like, I'm going to do the art as therapy thing right now and just make art every week. And it turned into now 10 plus years of Sunday sketches. So
Sunday sketches started in what year?
2013, yeah.
Okay.
And... wow. Yeah. It's been over 10 years of one art piece every Sunday.
Wow.
And it's looking at everything in the world that mainly all the things that I feel like need to be fixed, what I call the broken bones, all the things that we look out and we see like, this is not working right. Like, can we address this? Can I use art to inspire people to make a positive change, to contact their district attorney or sign this petition or do something? And yeah, it became so many different things from social justice to politics and global warming, all different types of things that I felt like need to be fixed. Along the way, like, even though I was still, working at Disney, doing a architecture thing during the day, nights and weekends were that Sunday sketch time.
And where did you live? You were in LA.
Yeah, in LA. As soon as I graduated from Hampton in '08, I drove across the country, and I basically never left LA after that. And so there were just those weekly moments of artist therapy, but also like looking at art and activism. But then it started turning into viral art pieces that there were moments where like everybody was seeing or sharing my art. If it was could have been related to like police brutality or the Olympics. My Golden Girls Olympics artwork turned into a book deal with Barnes & Noble in 2016. So there was a moment still working at Disney, but then all of a sudden I'm an author and illustrator published for the first time. And there are moments where, I started working on film stuff and just like doing concept art for films. I work a lot with Ryan Coogler doing concept art for film. Sometimes I'm doing movie posters. And all this art stuff just kept getting really, really big. And my wife, who is also my manager and the total like engine behind all of my branding and everything that I do, we were dating at the time. She was like, you should probably leave Disney. Like, you should probably like.
Where did you all meet?
We actually met on Tinder.
I love it.
Yeah, in LA. And so.
In like 20.
Man, that was
if I'm putting it all together. Like
yeah, so that was like 2015. Okay. We went on a date and then became friends for a year and a half. And yeah, eventually we were like, hey, maybe we should try dating again. And so, yeah, she really was the one who was like, you know what? That thing that you're doing right now is called Artivism. There's a name for it. It's called Artivism. You don't have a website. Let me build your website. Like you're selling your prints for $5. You should probably sell them for more. Like she really helped me with the whole, the entire business.
Oh, we definitely need a partner in those things.
Yeah, she built it all. And so it really kind of gave me the courage to just say like, I think I'm ready to step out and become a full-time freelance illustrator. And it's been the most amazing.
And so that's great. What did you do in those first years, like 2018 to 2019? And what are you doing now? Like what's been the journey of that independent artist away from Disney?
Yeah, as soon as I left Disney, so it was 2019, I got an email from Penguin basically asking, would you like to illustrate a children's book about slavery? And I was like, this is going to be very difficult and challenging, but absolutely, I would love to do that. It was the most amazing dream project. It was 1619 project, Born on the Water, became instant #1 New York Times bestseller. I got to illustrate my ancestors from Central West Africa and talk about before the times of slavery and then what it means to stand for liberty and justice for all. And that was like the best welcome to the freelance world after 11 years of architecture. So yeah, it's been nonstop picture books ever since I left.
So I want to stop and ask, can you describe your art? Because obviously this is not a visual medium. We'll throw links into the show notes. Okay. But if you could describe the style of your illustration and if you can give us some examples of some of the imagery, because it's really powerful.
Thank you. I do semi-abstract, at times semi-abstract, painterly digital paintings. They're speed paintings. So the way that my mind works, I can't spend a ton of time on art. So I feel like I have to create very fast. And so they're speed paintings and they're sketchy and sometimes unfinished. I like the kind of unfinished rough style. And so it's like, it started off creating what feels like on the digital canvas, charcoal on paper, on like brown paper kind of thing. Very simple pieces like that. And then it turned into more like of a feeling of an oil painting, very colorful and a lot of movement. I want them to feel like oil paintings. And a lot of times people will ask me like, can I buy the original? And I'm like, it's a JPEG. So you can't, there's not really an original. So most of my Sunday sketches are that. I do also do acrylic on canvas paintings. But yeah, I was inspired by a lot of classic painters like Norman Rockwell. I actually had a Norman Rockwell painting on my wall growing up, the Ruby Bridges painting, which ironically, I now have a picture book with Miss Ruby Bridges. But yeah, it was kind of that painterly style. And I do a lot of portraits a lot of times with the figure looking at you in the eyes. I want them to ask you about, do you see the humanity in that person? I want people to look at my portraits and see that. Or sometimes it's like trying to continue on, like somebody who is no longer here, somebody who I want their voice to continue. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot of different styles, a lot of different subjects. Definitely, a lot of times people will tell me, like, do you ever run out of ideas for things to do? Because it's like a weekly thing, but there are so many issues in the world. There's so many things that need to be fixed. And consequently, there's like so many different people who have been affected by those broken bones in the world, the things that aren't working right. And so there's like an endless amount of subjects and topics. Yeah. Yeah.
And so for everyone listening, for where you spend your time and how people can think about like accessing your work, how much of your time is spent on the Sunday series? Is that like what people are collecting, or what galleries are you in, and or are people calling you for commission pieces? All of it.
Great question. That 2 to 3 hours every Sunday is the amount of time that I spend on my Sunday sketch series. And I have all those prints on my website, Nikkolas.art. And it's a Nikkolas with 2 Ks because my mom wanted to be different. So yes, so
it's probably helped you in that art form, right?
It's very Googleable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. SEO, great idea, Mom. Thank you.
Yeah, great idea. So yeah, Nikkolas.art, and I put all my work on there. And besides that time, I have just a ton of book projects that I'm always working on, and I've come out with 5 picture books since I left Disney. 1619 Projects, Born on the Water, and I Am Ruby Bridges with Miss Ruby Bridges. I have a Black Panther Wakanda Forever, The Courage to Dream, and also a book called That Flag, about the Confederate flag. A lot of my books are banned in certain places in the country. And then my latest one, The Artivist, which is about all of those years of art and activism kind of put into a picture book.
Right. And you've been here and you did a book signing, and
absolutely.
I heard they all sold out. I was just talking to somebody, they said they got the last signed copy. So that's very successful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you come to us?
Great question.
The art farm, you are a residency with the art farm here.
And so I have been in the gallery space here for the week, and it's been really incredible. And I wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for Vanessa Guthrie. She has been super supportive of my art for many years, and we've kind of been connected on social media for a while. But it was always like, maybe one day, if you're ever able to come out to Georgia, like maybe we can collaborate on something, or you have to check out Serenbe. And I'm so glad she did, because this has been an incredible experience. And yeah.
So for everyone listening, Vanessa Guthrie lives in Serenbe with her family. Did you and Vanessa, had you all met in person prior to
No, I literally just...
I just was wondering, did you collaborate it when she was at Snap?
When she walked into the gallery space, a few days ago, that was the first time we actually got to hug and say hi. And it was really great.
So how has Serenbe been for the week or the 10 days that you'll be here compared to what you maybe came in thinking? Or did you come in thinking anything?
I really didn't have I had no idea what to expect. I really have enjoyed, I always wanted to grow up in a place or live in a place where I feel like everybody knows everybody, and it's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that vibe here. And it's been, especially great to connect with the school, the Terra School. We just finished a mural. We literally collaborated from beginning to end, me and the learners at Terra. And
I think that would be great to share with everyone, but what that process has looked like, because it's been, I have 2 kids at Terra, and it's been beautiful to hear them talking about it daily.
Absolutely. We were talking about the Artivist, the book, my picture book, and all the kids told me what are the broken bones that they're most concerned about in the world? What do they want to fix in the world? And I got feedback from literally like every learner in the school. And interestingly, after I read the prompts from the youngest kids in the school, they had so many thoughts about like how we help each other, like how one person helps another person. And as soon as I read that, I was like, okay, I know what this piece is going to be. And it ended up being this piece called Terraform, which is this deliberate action of creating the earth the way you want it to be able to sustain humanity. And so it's got like dozens of like hands interconnected and helping each other, planting trees, cleaning up the ocean. And it's just this one big cohesive piece that is literally like, it's a collection of all those things that we talked about with the learners. And then every single one of them had an opportunity to like grab a paintbrush and help me throw the paint on the wall. And it was really beautiful. And, you know, now when the kids walk by, they're like, I worked on that piece. And they're like, this is going to be here forever. It was very special.
Yeah. Do you do murals often, or was this sort of something new? I know that it was sort of a collaborative idea between Vanessa and the school and you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say often. I mean, I've done some with Disney. I recently just did one for Origin, Ava DuVernay's latest film. And I've done a few in that sense, but very few of them are like actually like paint on a wall. Like, I'm a digital artist, so a lot of times if I'm working with a company like Ben & Jerry's or Disney, a lot of times it's like, all right, send me the file and we will plaster this thing on the wall.
Yep.
But it's extra special when we're actually like grabbing the paint and putting it on the wall. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's so great. And you have a child? Yes,
I have a 3-year-old named Zion, and he has been running all over this place.
Has he enjoyed it?
Yes, he has. He doesn't have quite as much space to roam around in Los Angeles, and it's been really special. We've been driving around in the golf cart. He's had time on his kind of like on his own with the babysitter and time with Vanessa's kids. And it's just been very special for him to just roam around, meet the other kids, actually also like put a little bit of paint on the wall for the mural.
Sure.
And he's really enjoying it. Yeah.
I heard you're doing a superhero day tomorrow.
I am.
Right? And so can you talk a little bit about that? But also what I think is interesting with the book is you have kind of a I don't know if we can call it a toolkit of how you can engage with kids. And so that's another aspect of your art, right? Is engaging younger people in art activism. Can you talk a little bit about tomorrow, what Superhero Day is, and then what that, again, I'll use the word toolkit. You can tell me what it
for sure. So it's in a way it's connected to, there was a day at the Terra School a few days ago where, you know, I got to talk about my Artivism, but then we also have like Artivist workshops afterwards. So all the kids get to create something, like maybe a poster, Artivist poster. But connected to that, sometimes it'll be a superhero workshop where you're literally like coming up with what is that superpower that you have, that you feel like you have, that you can like save the world with this superpower. So what is that superpower, you know? So they will have the opportunity to really kind of put that thing together, and we'll go over again, like, what is it that you want to fix in the world? And a lot of times it's connected to the kid's personality, you know, like they'll tell me what that thing is that they uniquely, only they can fix the world in this way. And it's really cool to see how they can craft their own story. And in a way, it's like a movie poster. I show them how I make movie posters in Hollywood, and how they can make this, like, this is the movie poster of your superhero life.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love the how can you fix the world, because I'm sitting here just thinking so much of Serenbe's story that people don't realize or think about, is that Serenbe evolved from how can we fix the world? And I don't even know if like that's something you know, Nikkolas, but this all like Serenbe evolved from how do we save trees? There was never an intent of how do we build a community, or there was intent of that. It didn't start with how do we build a community. It started with how do we save the trees?
Wow.
And how do we protect the environment? And building a community became the clearest answer for how do you protect the environment from urban sprawl.
Oh, wow.
So much of Serenbe's story is aligned with so much of your story of inspiring people every day to think about how can you fix the thing that's broken. And you do it through art, and you do it through beauty, and you do it through inspiring people and finding that inspiration, that it can be a beautiful thing to do that. It doesn't have to feel ugly or so like impossible, right? So
wow. Yeah, I didn't even know that when I kind of laid out the mural at the school. The focal point of the mural is like 4 or 5 hands planting a tree in the middle. But yeah, that's beautiful. It's really what it all comes down to. And that's why I felt like kind of the idea of terraform was great, because it is like making the earth that you want, but within that, it's also, we all have to come together and help each other.
And participate, right?
Yeah.
To participate and change.
And think differently, because flipping the script a little bit, I was thinking when, you ask the kids, what's your superpower? We are so intent as a society to say, well, what are you going to be when you grow up? And we tend to put like engineer, teacher, fireman, whatever. But really, I like that so much better. And that's very much Serenbe. Like it flips the script a little bit and says, we're asking the wrong questions. So I really thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I know tonight we're going to do a little party for you. Do you feel like you've been jam-packed, or is there more that you could have done? I know you're only here for a few more days.
I can take on as much. I just got back from India a couple weeks ago, and it was like thousands of kids and go here and there and 1,000 miles an hour. And so like everything after that feels like a breeze. So like bring me more things to do. I can take it on. Yeah.
Is there anything we haven't touched on that you want to share? I mean, we'll put everything in the show notes about how to find you and the books and the posters and everything. And I'm going to have a final question for you, but is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to share with our listeners?
So the gallery space where it was just really nice also, because I typically will do canvas pieces in February for Black History Month. But this time I was able to do 4 canvases just in this past few days. So I have like really big acrylic on canvas pieces there, along with a lot of my digital art on the wall. So people were able to come through and kind of see that Sunday sketch journey, but then also see a lot of the acrylic on canvas art that I've done that I just created like either the night before or whatever. So that has been really cool to have people interact in that way with my art. And I'm very thankful to you all for creating this space. I mean, a lot of times people they may see like through social media, or they might see one of my pieces like being shared on social media, but they don't get to really interact with me or see, how I make what I make. And I've been able to have a lot of really good conversations with folks. So,
Well, and that was another resident generously offered their space.
Yeah.
This was a future retail space. The individual's not moving in for a few weeks. And I just thought that was beautiful. It's just another way that people came together and kind of maybe publicly thank Vanessa here for introducing us to you, but also for you making the time to come and spend time and share your work with us.
Thank you.
It's really, really beautiful.
It's been really great.
So my final question we always ask on Serenbe Stories, I know you have only been here 10 days, but if somebody was going to come to Serenbe and they'd never been here, what would you tell them to do?
I would tell them you have to definitely go to the waterfall. We went to the waterfall this morning and it was so peaceful, and just it was just like, I just kept thinking like, if I lived here, like this would be my like reflection place, and in LA we like to hike and do different things, and there's so many different beautifully crafted trails and just space to like get away. For like in LA, it's like, might have to drive a little bit to get away, but I love the idea of just like stepping outside my front door and then boom, I can go on a trail and get away. It was very special to see the waterfalls this morning. Definitely check that out.
Okay, great. Yeah. I know that's another flip the script. Different questions we want to ask ourselves when we choose where to live. Like, where's my trail? Where's my nature trail?
Where's my trail?
Where's my trail? Well, Nikkolas, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm thrilled to meet you today, and I appreciate you being here. And thank you, Art Farm, for having you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nikkolas.
Thank you so much.